limbo, a classic. If ever, I mean, you know, how many of you ever gone clear down on the limbo? I did it once, man. I had the whole darn place on fire, and everybody was cheering, "Coyote, coyote, coyote!" And I just, you know, got down on my back on the floor and slid underneath about, you know, shucking my heels a little bit. It was easy, man. Then I got throwed up on everybody's shoulders and carried around the bar room for a few minutes there, and then I got to boogie with all them hot chicks from the CU, etc. You never seen such a divine gathering of universal love as with at that party, man. That was my soul sisters down there in Boulder, Colorado. Had a little club called Trill OG. This was back a few years now, maybe 22 or so. I can't keep track. It just goes with the flow. But oh my goodness, what a party we had with the limbo that night, don't you know? You know, in that psychotic rock and roll with all the electric lights, strobe lights going off and stuff. What an environment. What a great crowd. They were loosened up just right, and old Coyote just took them by the nose and says, you know, don't be sniffing my pantyhose, but watch this, kids, you know. Showed them what an old man could do while I was still kind of young and limber, too. Faked them out. I looked old when I was 18, man. You know, people looked at me and said, you 103 or are you just a kid? I can't tell, man. I'd look back and say, I can't either, man. You never know which way that flow gonna take you, I tell you. It's just like life is like that, man. You know, shake you up, bake you up, and fry you up, and serve you as a French fry, but nobody will eat you because you're such an old sourpuss, you know. And somehow you survive all that, you know. With most of your hair intact, you lose a lot, I'll tell you, along the way, because, you know, the stress will kill you, man. But guess what, you know, it's just like this. It's like a rock and roll journey. You know, it's a rock opera if ever there was one. Each one of us has a life just like that, man, you know. It totally makes... It might be a little soap opera-ish for a lot of folks, but it totally makes, you know, one hell of a story that the whole heart of the universe, it shakes, man, and gets it encouraged again and gets it growing again. You know, do you realize how many people there are right here, right now, in your presence and your past and your future, which is right now, that are literally not only encouraging you, but living this life with you? Do you realize what a grand and appreciated presence you are in this reality? You got fans across the totality of the universe and way beyond it too, man, you know. I don't care who you are, what role you're playing. You might be, Stan as I call him, you know. One of those really evil spirits, you know. Oh, bullshit, man. Just total bullshit. You know, well, guess what? We've been cowboys. We've been pushing them bulls around for a long time, right? Enough of this nonsense, babies. You know, we understand, you know, bullshit and buffalo shit. They're cousins first class, man, you know. And what do? They grow a lot of grass. They're made of grass. They're made of love. They just transfer through a little buffalo love in the process, and the grass turns itself into nutrients for the next generation of grass. And the grass just keeps growing, and the buffalo keep roaming, and the bullshit dies down to just another part of the cycle, man, you know. Some bullshit is pretty enlightened, man. If you just break it down to its basic elements, it'll set you free. You see? That's why you put up with a lot of bullshit in the 3D, because you see value in it. Otherwise, you'd let it go right now, you know, and you'd be partying just like us folks back in Boulder back in that day, man. Wasn't that fun? I tell you, man. You don't know how it feels to be living like that. Boy, I wish these people wouldn't call me this time of day. I'll get back to them in a little while, babies. I'm sorry that little interfering little ding-a-ling-a-ling thing going off. Well, maybe it's a phone call from paradise reminding us that the whole season begins when you just be nice to one another, okay? That's all it takes, you know, just being a human being, you know, just finally settling down. You know, we glamorize this with a lot of exotic bullshit about melding into new realities and partying down in singularity with a lot of people at the same time, etc. Well, that's all part of it. But it just really boils down to, like, you know, the magic's in just being decent, simple, decent, caring, loving towards everyone, even the most obnoxious piece of shit you ever met. You got to see beyond that kind of judgment, and see what's really there and encourage it forward. That doesn't mean you put up with any nonsense from some freak, but you see beyond the freak. You see the magic that lives there, a heart that could endure that. To start with, shit. Who wants to live like that? No one. Yet how many people do you know that are, especially these days? Totally whacked, right? But guess what? You're there to help them come back. Just by holding a steady flame, if nothing else. Just by being, steadier than anybody else they know. That doesn't mean you won't be a little anticlimactic at times or whatever. You might totally feel like you muffed the whole program, But it's all right. It's all in a flow. And guess what? Because there was some steadiness there that they could detect. Well, guess what? Steadiness does infect even the most crazy of people, which are really dispossessed from themselves and, taken possession of by external energies. It's true, man. You look at them, you see it, plain as day. Don't lie to yourself anymore and don't kid yourself. Sure, it's a sickness and illness. Sure. Brought on by all kinds of traumatic pain, or sometimes just somebody being too much of a sissy to be able to even take being here. So you got to go over the edge to even exist here. That's just somebody who's got a real sensitive heart that really loves and cares for everyone, but can find no outlet for that love in this frustrating life. Gets jammed down on it every turn. You'd go stir crazy too now, wouldn't you? You see, it's the only way you can exist here. And you got to have the experience one way or another, because you ain't letting go of the life that quick. Otherwise, you'd have checked out the first time it got rough. See, you're not like that. You're really tough. You're resilient. So even the nuttiest of people have that going on. They're the strongest of saintly souls there could ever be, because they can endure this kind of insanity and live to tell about it, man. And there you are, infecting them with just a little bit of your steadiness. See, that simplicity, that urge to create decency, compassion, expansion, growth, harmony. And again, doesn't mean you won't stand up to folks when you have to, babies. There's no lying down and letting them move in on you and take everything away and shit like that. That's not love. That's stupid. That's weakness. That's not strength. That's trying to build yourself up by getting yourself knocked down, and feeling all humble and persecuted for it, And then you start to feel like Jesus Joe and Mary Wani too, man. I'm telling you, it's just like, no. That sacrificial soul's got to go, The sacrifice is given long ago inside of every life, every breath, every moment we ever lived. Just being here is quite the sacrifice. Just giving up our presence to come and be non-present for a while in a seemingly present reality. It's the strangest psychotic piece of doo-doo to start with there could ever be. See, it's all bullshit. But it's a really enlightened kind of bullshit. It's the best kind of bullshit. You're downwind of it, you don't mind that at all. It smells like there's a party brewing up, but it's going to take a little while. That's the extent of it right there, you see. Bust it down to the elemental love in the 3D, and you got it. Just being decent to one another. Just saying hello to one another without being afraid or in fear, Just being able to live that way. You see somebody down on her luck, hell, give them 50, give them 500, give them a home, give them a car, color TV, whatever. I wouldn't give them no TV, though. Programming, jeez, It's bad enough everywhere else, That's 666 shit these days. Oh, but that's all right. See, all this sick shit in this reality, the stuff that encourages all the horribleness, and wants people to stay unconscious, it's only fooling itself into coming out of that same state itself. See, it's those external energies that control other beings and torment them and shit, when you're weak, well, you're not ever weak. You're just converting an external energy into a reality that it wasn't quite ready for a long, long time. See, we get into our perspectives here and we get stuck in the groove, Happens to spirits too, of course. And where all this good and evil play came from, and that's all it is play. I know it gets real serious here day after day, but it ain't no more. See, the heaviness has gone out of it already, and everybody feels that, And we're not lost, we're found. We're not done, we're just bringing ourselves around. Now, at other times in our colorful historical past, man, you know, in the time frame anyway, there's been times when we hit an equal point in civilization, you know, and these same background pieces of shit were always running the show, you know, but invisible, you know, that kept it tolerable, but insurmountable. And inevitably its destruction would show it. This has got those tendencies, don't you know? And down we go, the whole dang human race. Start from nothing again. Talk about Ugg and Doug in the cave and where's Mary Jane when you need her, you know? I mean, gee whiz, you know, there was a time, you know, when humans became such a degraded form. They really were like, you know, that bent over caveman with the club in its hand, you know. But that was a short-term thing in relative terms, you know, of time anyway. See, we all know this. We all know this cosmic history, this reality. We all know the truth, in other words. It's written inside of us, you know, better than it could ever be written in a book. When you write a book, others can interfere with that, and they do. You know, they'll change all of your words if they can, you know, make it seem really stupid and upside down and backwards, so only the most gullible swallow it and everybody else will hate it. And there you got division, man. I mean, you know, that keeps away revision, you know. Keeps the polarity thing alive, you know. What do you think religion's all about? Exactly that. Us versus them. It's keeping it polarized, you know. I mean, they may say they got your saintly soul in their heart. Well, what they're saying is we're taking that soul over, baby. We own you, and we control you. But gently so. You wouldn't know now, would you? But see, the easy way out of all that, you don't have to give up any beliefs or practices or anything, you know, but just see the silliness you're involved in and let go of anything you find to be silly. Anything that doesn't really complement your experience here in the 3D, you know. If it doesn't bring you joy and happiness, you know, well then there's something wrong with it. If it causes consternation, if the priest is going after your kids, whatever, I mean, you know, you got to make a stand, you know. You got to be real with yourself. You can't deny it. See, the only reason why that shit's gone on in the background forever, this is a little subtone here, is because good people turned their eyes the other way, denied what they were seeing. See, that happens a lot in this reality because we're conditioned to do that within ourselves. To deny the very presence of an experience of love here. To be something less than that and on the defensive or offensively defensive all the time. See, it's a total backwards trip from what's hip and what's really given to be here. The hip reality, which is, of course, a caring concern for yourself and others. A simple desire to see everybody happy. Because you know you can't be totally happy until that's experienced by everyone. But you do allow that experience in yourself because that opens the door for everyone. You might be the key figure there, you see, you know, some molecules perform a stronger function than others. That means any better than anybody else or any worse, it's just they're doing it. Like you are right now in that flow, don't you know? See, there's reasons for every experience we have here, for every person and place and people that we're drawn to, man. I mean, everywhere, you know. Whatever is going on in your life, baby, it's scientifically designed in assistance to the great divine, to all of the united collective, not only of the human heart, but of the universe behind that and all the stars that go with it. The substance of which lives right inside of our own soft, sweet little hide. And when we feel that softening glow, that's your star coming home, don't you know? Your star arising, baby, you know. And here's to you. Rising stars everywhere around the face of this earth this morning, you know. Compliments of the mystery beyond the 3D, which ain't so mysterious now, is it, really? It's just accepting what you naturally see. Like that moment you're laying on the mountain, way in the background there, you know. And everything's there. It's all united. It's all there. It's visible. It's knowable. It's feelable. You're a part of that experience. You are that experience. And that's all of you. All these grand angels, all these grand expressions of life, all the experiences within them, all the joy that goes with it, that's in you too. My presence, your presence, his presence, her presence. It's all the same presence in all of this life flowing together. Now there's a spring creek moment that's a trip On a trip into his one day, and like I say, here's to you, babies. Clink, clink, clink all the way around. Blessings to our traveler out there that's journeying this way. Blessings to all those who love the experience of life today enough to get themselves underway and make the moves necessary to get yourself the hell out of the way and come out to play in a real creative way. A loving heart is an unstoppable force. Especially when it employs the creative aspect of itself in the divine dream it lives in. In other words, it's just like old Glinda said when you started out down this yellow brick journey road. Well, babies, you already got it. What are you going down there for, you know? Well, 'cause the Munchkins told us to, man. They didn't want us hanging out here. Little people are prejudiced, man. Oh, baby. The glow in the flow, that's what you find there, don't you know? Yeah, see? Yep, right there inside of you, right there inside of me. Well, Oki, you know, give it to us because he's, you know, the divine keeper of that presence, okay? I mean, what can I say? Little doggies have their way. Especially here on the Hazy Radio Network, where we love our doggy listeners too, man. Hey, who's that little poochie listening in out there? Oh, Cooper, yeah. Cooper, how you doing? Cooper the dog, baby. You keep your little heart rocking, okay? And show everybody else the way. I love it so, man, don't you? Here on the Hazy Radio Network, it's another one of those Spring Creek moments with Grandpa Coyote, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Cooper the dog, and a whole lot of other angelical type presences tuning in. Oh, sweet Mary Jane. She's my oneness heart, you know. I mean, her and I gathered together quite some time ago here in this reality, and now we're attempting to become one with everybody else that we see, because it's fun to be here with Mary J. I'll tell you, you know, you just wish you could so play, don't you? Okay, well, let her come. She's right there in you too, okay? See? Isn't this fun?